I welcome you all to this webinar titled 7 Tips and Tricks for Connecting Power BI to OBIE and Oracle Analytics Cloud. I'm sure you'll have some great takeaways by the end of this session. Okay, what is the agenda for this webinar? First, we'll take a look at the reasons for connecting Power BI to OBIE. Then we'll see the unique challenges in connecting Power BI to OBIE, followed by a quick introduction to BI connector, followed by the 7 tips and tricks with demos, the core part of the webinar, and then we'll see the benefits. Now, let's take a look at the reasons for connecting Power BI to OBIE from various stakeholders' perspective. First, let's take the end users. End users, you like the self-service visualizations in Power BI. You can just create visualization by simple point and click and drag and drop interactions. And you can also do data blending. And if Power BI is a standard visualization tool across the enterprise, then you'll have to stick to Power BI. So these are some of the reasons for connecting Power BI to OBIE from the end user's perspective. But what happens is, if OBIE is one of the data sources, then users typically spend about 4 to 5 hours every week in exporting and importing data from OBIE and then blending it with Power BI. This adds to a productivity loss of about $10,000 per user per year. Now let's take a look at it from the IT team's perspective. The IT teams have already invested a lot of time and money in creating the OBIE assets that like complex schemas, joins, and aggregations, and top of that, thousands of reports are being used by the users. It's evident that years of efforts have already invested into it with a long-term vision. And recreating these assets in Power BI from the scratch is not the right option. Actually, it is cost prohibitive. Like it would take more than 5 months per subject area and about $250,000 in new investment. So reusing the existing OBIE assets and connecting to Power BI is the best choice for the IT teams, and the IT teams in fact want to make the best of the both worlds, that is OBIE and Power BI. Now let's take a look at the unique challenges of connecting Power BI to OBIE. First of all, OBIE as a data source in itself is a big challenge because it is unlike other data sources like a spreadsheet or an SQL Server database, because it is a business intelligence tool in itself and it has a huge data volume. And as I mentioned earlier, it has a lot of complex schemas, joins, and aggregations, and thousands of reports. If you see the challenges in connecting Power BI to OBIE as a specific data source, then the main challenges are achieving flexibility to all combination of possibilities. Like the Power BI client could be desktop or service, the connectivity mode could be import or direct query, the data source type could be subject areas or reports, the OBIE versions could be 11G or 12C or Oracle Analytics Cloud. And in the wake of the recent pandemic, we are also seeing another need to connect to the BI server from a remote instance of Power BI. So what is the need is a unique solution that helps to navigate all these challenges as though they never existed. Let's have a quick introduction to BI Connector. BI Connector is a battle-tested BI integration solution. It is a unique patented solution that contains modern visualization tools like Power BI, Tableau, and click to legacy BI data platforms like OBIE and Oracle Analytics Cloud. BI Connector was launched in 2015. It is a product of Guidance Inc., company based in San Francisco Bay Area. And the Guidance partners with technology partners like Microsoft, Tableau, and Oracle to consistently improve BI Connector. At the right side of the screen, you can see some of the customers currently using BI Connector. Let's see the 7 tips and tricks with demos. Let's first see them as a list. First, know your OBIE data. Second, start with reports instead of subject areas. Third, choose the right connection type. Fourth, use filters. Fifth, use GZID for subject areas. Sixth, fine-tune for long-running and large queries. Seventh, implement data security in cloud. Now let's take the first tip, know your OBIE. BI Connector establishes a seamless connectivity between Power BI and OBIE, but the complexity of OBIE is still relevant. So we recommend a fail-safe approach where you keep Power BI and OBIE side by side. Take a report in OBIE, understand the subject area, trace it back to its folders, directories, and then connect the same report to Power BI, create a visualization out of it, and verify the results with OBIE. This will help you get familiar with how OBIEE connector works with both these tools, and you can get comfortable working in connecting Power BI to OBIEE. This is a recommended step. In other words, it just means get the basics right. The next one is to start with reports. When you connect to reports, you can directly access a report as a table and start creating visualizations out of it. And just in case if the data set that you require to analyze is not available in the report in any of the reports, then what we recommend is to create the report with the required data set in OBIEE first, and then connect to that report and start analyzing from Power BI. So that way you can easily start with reports without any additional steps. Whereas in connecting to a subject area and creating a report from scratch in Power BI requires a few additional steps. We will see that later. Next, choose the right connection type. You can use direct query when the OBIEE queries and reports perform well. So you can minimize the data loaded into Power BI. And we recommend import when the queries are slow. So you can directly get the data from OBIEE and keep it in in-memory database of Power BI and start visualizing it quickly. And when there is a mix of connection types, let's say in the same Power BI report, if there is any mix of connection types, like you are using direct query for OBIEE and import for other data sources, or vice versa, we request you to verify if the composite model works for you. If not, you use the same connectivity mode for all the data sources. The fourth tip is to use filters. Some OBIEE reports could have millions of rows, and that could result in a performance issue when querying importing into OBIEE, into Power BI. So in that case, you can use filters and improve the query performance, and you can also narrow down only to the data that you need for your analysis. That would obviously result in faster queries and shorter report creation time. Okay. Now let's see a quick demo of connecting Power BI to OBIEE reports. First we'll go with import, and then we'll see the direct query and switching, and then we'll see the remaining tips. Okay. So first I open the ODBC 64-bit console. As you can see, I've set up some DSNs, OBIEE dev reports, OBIEE dev subject areas, OBIEE prod reports, OBIEE prod subject areas. If you have UAT, you can also add that as a DSN. So I'll show you how we have configured this DSNs. So I choose OBIEE prod reports and I choose configure. Okay, you can see the data source name and the description is optional. This server name is the exact URL that you type in a browser for accessing your OBIEE account, and this port number is the same port number that you give in the browser. And here is the user ID and password, the same credentials that you use to access your OBIEE account. So I'll type in the password first and test the connection. Okay, so this is the data source type. As you can see here, there is subject areas and reports. Since I have named this, I have created this DSN for reports. I'm choosing reports here, and I'm clicking the manage report list. In OBIEE, the reports are broadly categorized into my folder report. If you want to use just your folder, then you can just check this box and save and go. Or if you want to access only specific reports or specific folders within your folder or from the shared folders, you'll have to enter the path of that report or folder here and then click the add button. Okay, so currently I've added a folder and a report here. Save. Now let's see the difference in the subject areas. It's just one difference. You'll have to choose the data source type as subject areas, and in the case of data source type, you don't have to. It is not mandatory to add the subject areas, but to improve the performance, you can obviously manage the subject area list. Okay, I'll have to enter the password before uh, managing the subject area list. Okay, this connection. Okay. Now manage subject area list. You can see I've already added a subject area. If I want to add more, I can add the specific subject areas that I want for my analysis and save. Okay. Now let's hop on to Power BI, and I will show you how to connect to the OBIEE prod reports and see how to visualize. Okay, first I'll get data. BA connector is Power BI certified. So you can just type in and you can see it here, OBIEE connector, connect. I'm going to enter the DSN here, OBIEE prod reports, and the data connectivity mode, I leave it as import. Okay. Since this is the first time I am connecting to this DSN, OBIEE is prompting me to enter the username and password. So I am giving it. Enter them now. I will click connect. Okay, now it is fetching the folders, fetching the reports in the folder that I gave and the specific report also. So I can see here. For this demo purpose, I will go with this European orders report. Okay. Before loading, I'd like to apply the fourth step for just an emphasis, so I can filter and improve the query performance. So I have chosen transform data. It opens up the Power Query editor. I choose some select countries for my analysis, and then I'll go ahead in my analysis. Okay. Close and apply. Okay, now the columns are loaded here. So first I'll go with the Tableau report and choose country and sales revenue, probably. Yeah. Now if I want to see the same report on a map, I can just choose the map visualization and I can see it. So creating this visualization in OBIEE is going to take a long time and demands a lot of technical know-hows. Whereas in Power BI, you can just simply do it in drag and drop and simple point and click interactions. Okay, creating a visual of OBIEE data in Power BI is as easy as this. Okay, this time I'm going to show you how to do it in direct way. Recent sources, OBIEE prod reports. Since I've already entered the password, this time OBIEE is not going to ask the password. I'm sorry, Power BI will not ask the password. It is already saved in Power BI, but if you want to delete it, you can obviously go to the data source settings and clear permissions. European orders report this time. Okay, I'll load it. Now it will ask me whether I want to choose between import or direct query. I choose direct query this time. I'll click OK. In the case of direct query, only the metadata will be loaded in Power BI, whereas you'll be accessing the real-time data from OBIEE. Okay, so I'm going to create a visualization again and choose country and quantity this time. I think, yeah, I could have narrowed down to the specific countries that I need this visual, so I'll probably go apply the filters. Yeah. So only the data that I need for my analysis, I'll use it here. So that would help in faster query performance. Okay, now I'll just convert it into a map. Yeah, there you go. So we have seen how to connect Power BI to OBIEE reports and start visualizing it. Actually, you might have noticed that I have not done any other additional step except for basic filtering. Now let's see how to connect to subject areas and visualize data. Don't save. Okay. Now I'm going back to the presentation and see the next. So use GCID for subject areas, and this particular slide is for direct query. There's a certain procedure for direct query, and in the case of connecting to subject area via import, we'll see the procedure in the next slide. Okay, so you might have got a question, what is this GCID? GCID is a virtual ID created by VA connector, and it shows up in all the tables, fact and dimension tables you pull up as a column. So as you can see here, it is just a serial number. We have created a simple workaround for the users to manually follow some steps so they can quickly retain all the existing joins in the OBIEE without having to recreate those joins from scratch in Power BI. Using GCID, you are avoiding OBIEE return aggregated data. You will get the rows on an as-is basis for your slice and dice in Power BI. So in the case of direct query, let's see the procedure of how to use GCID. All you have to do is here. So first, connect GCID from the fact table to each dimension tables, and in each relationship, just choose the cardinality as many to one, and choose the cross filter direction as single. When I show it in the demo, it will be clear. So now let's see for the import. So you use GCID for first, in the case of importing subject areas, you would have to edit queries before loading, and then that launches the Power Query editor. Then you'll have to use merge queries for merging the fact table with each of the dimension tables. And in the relationship, you'll have to choose the join kind as left outer. And additionally, you can also improve the performance by reducing the number of columns and applying filters to reduce the rows. Okay, now let's see how to connect the subject areas from Power BI. I get back to my Power BI instance. Get data. Yeah, that's correct. BI connector. I choose BI connector and click connect. OBIEE prod subject areas. And I'll go with import first, and then I'll show you how to do it in direct query. Okay. I'm connecting to this DSN for the first time, so I'm entering the credentials. Okay. Now I think it shows the subject area that I added in my DSN. Now I'll choose one fact table and two dimension tables for this demo. I'll go with order details fact table and customers and products for dimension tables. And I choose transform data, launching the Power Query editor. Okay, I choose the fact table order details, and I'm going to merge queries. First, I'm going to connect it with customers dimension table, connecting GCID to GCID. Yeah. It's estimating matches based on data previews. As you can see, the join kind by default is left outer, so I leave it as it is. If not, I'll choose left outer. Okay. And now I'll do the same for the next dimension table, which is products. GCID, GCID, and the join kind is left outer. Okay. Now I just need some columns from this table, so I'll choose them. So I can improve my performance, query performance. Yeah. Okay. City, country, and company. Okay. And in products also, I'll choose some columns. I'll go with category ID and product name. Yeah. Okay. So I have eliminated the columns that I don't need, and also I can improve the query by applying some filters by narrowing down to the countries that I need for my analysis. This time I'll go with Americas, the American continent. Yeah. Okay. I've already merged the fact table with the required data from these two dimension tables. So I don't require these two tables to load. So I can just right click and uncheck enable load. Okay, close and apply. So applying the query changes and it is loading. Okay, now the columns are loaded here. I'll create a Tableau report, and again I'll go with country and public sales revenue. Yeah, so you can see, and I'll create another map visualization and go with city and quantity. Okay, there you go. Now let's see how. So far we have seen how to connect Power BI to OBIEE subject area using the import mode. Now let's see how to do it in the direct query mode. I'm closing this instance and opening the next Power BI instance. Okay. Now I'm going to choose recent sources and choose OBIEE broad subject areas. I'll go with order details and again customers and products. Transform data. I'm sorry. I should have loaded the data. Okay. I'll just close and apply. Okay, now I'm going to the relationship window, and all I'll do is just connect GGID from the fact table to the first dimension table. And it is determining the relationship cardinality automatically. Okay, it is showing us 1 to 1, but as we discussed, I'm just going to change it as many to 1 and cross filter direction is single. Okay. Now I will repeat the same steps for the other dimension table. I'm choosing GCID. Yeah, it is determining the relationship cardinality. I'll change it to change the cardinality as many to 1 and cross filter direction as single. Okay. Now I'll get back to the reporting canvas. So by this way, you have already retained, you have executed all the steps to retain your OBIEE joins. So just a simple procedure to, it's just a simple workaround to overcome the complexity of creating the relationships again in Power BI. Yeah. So I go with the tabular report, choose country again, and go with the sales revenue. Okay. And obviously, I can improve the performance by adding some filters. This time I go with top 10, say top 10, and okay. By sales revenue just shown up here. Now I'll go with a tabular, I mean a map report. I'll go with country and quantity. Yeah, so there you go. So creating visualizations out of OBIEE data in Power BI is as simple as this. Now let's get back to the presentation and see the remaining tips. The next tip is to fine tune for long running and large queries. Sometimes OBIEE may not be returning the data, required data. In that case, it could be the result of a timeout error. And if long queries, due to long running queries, it could be the result that there are some timeout errors. In that case, what you can do is just to open up BA connector advanced settings and increase the timeout minutes here. Let's say, for example, here you can see 8 minutes. In that case, if your OBIEE query is going to take 10 minutes to execute, you can, for a safer side, you can keep up to 10 to more than 10 minutes, like 12 minutes or 13 minutes. So you can avoid that error. In the case of automatic query cancellation, where you get the query cancel message in the OBIEE connector log files, you need to check with your OBIEE admin if there is any time parameters set in the OBIEE. If yes, you need to make appropriate changes there by contacting your OBIEE admin. And the next case is the large data volumes. So you can use these parameters and improve the performance when there is large data volumes. I'll show you how. For example purpose, I created a simple use case. I just show it. Yeah. So let's say you have last 5 years sales data in as OBIEE report, and the last 5 years, I mean from 2015 to 2019, as you can see the dates here. So from this date 1/1/2015 to 12/31/2019. So, and you are interested only in the last year's sales data, and let's say this is the row number. This is for our reference. Only the columns with yellow background is a report. Okay, so and the last year sales data, that is 2000 sales data, you have only up to the 80,000 rows. Let's assume, and from 80,001 to 300,000, it is going to be the other year's data. You don't need it. So in that case, you can instead of fetching the entire data 300,000 rows, you can just fetch the first 80,000 rows. But if you're not sure about the number, you can just increase the number. Let's say you can see in the presentation. In that case, only the 100,000 rows, first 100,000 rows would be fetched, and that would improve the performance. And you can filter out the rest of the data, like the 2018 data from OBIEE. So it would be as easy as that. And this parameter is about the maximum number of rows per fetch. So for example, sometimes OBIEE might hit the timeout error. In that case, you can avoid that timeout by using this parameter. So for example, we are fetching 100,000 rows in a report, and we fetch it in 2 times. So 50,000 report for the first batch and 50,000 report for the second batch. So that way you can avoid the timeout errors. And additionally, there is also maximum number of columns per query. We highly recommend you to narrow down only to the data points that you need and set a slightly higher number than the required number for you here. You can always consult your OBIEE admin, and based on your need, you can set up this. And for C runtime errors in OBIEE queries, you need to increase the OBIEE memory allocation. Now we have come to the last tip: implement data security in cloud. OBIEE's data security model is not carried over into Power BI Cloud automatically as of now. So what we recommend is to implement appropriate data governance and sharing models for the OBIEE data sets in Power BI service, like you do for other data sources. Now let's have a quick recap of the 7 tips and tricks. First, know your OBIEE, get the basics right. Start with reports instead of subject areas. Choose like direct query versus import for the right use case. Then use filters, use GCID for subject areas, fine tune for long running and large queries, and implement data security in cloud. Now let's see the benefits. From the end user's perspective, you are saving about $10,000 per user per year, and you can experience easy and intuitive visualization, make faster decisions, save time, and avoid errors. And from the IT team's perspective, yeah, you're reusing OBIEE and avoiding re-engineering and saving more than $250,000, saving time and improving data governance and security, reducing the BA backlogs and maximizing the value of BA. Thank you all for attending this webinar. You can download the free trial of BA Connector from www.baconnector.com. If you'd like to share some suggestions, or if you have any questions, you are welcome to share them in the Q&A forum. And if you'd like to contact the BA Connector team, just shoot a mail to hello@baconnector.com. And if you'd like to reach me, just shoot a mail to dinesh@guidance.com.